The 720 was the first of 15 new models McLaren was planning. When they debuted this car in 2017, this was the first step in 15 new models they wanted to make by 2022. And they wanted to make a splash. And man, does it make a splash.
McLaren builds a lot of cars. Many of them are so similar in their propulsion, styling, and even the numerical name tag that it can be hard to keep them straight. But
this car is special. The 650 never had a chance. This was its successor. They actually started planning this car before the 650 debut. They already knew what it was going to be, and it's amazing. It is amazing in just about every way. It has an updated carbon monocoque compared to the 650. They made the upper door sills and the canopy out of carbon fiber, which made it lighter, stiffer, and you can make the A-pillars thinner, so the visibility is nearly unmatched. Mid-engine cars have that advantage. This is so good. That's a large cliff on the right-hand side, by the way. Because this carbon structure is so strong, they were able to make the buttresses behind me out of glass. So earlier today, when I looked over my shoulder to try to back up, I could see through them and see up the road. It genuinely helped. It is not a gimmick. I mean, this car has an amazing greenhouse, this incredible canopy feeling. Part of that is due to the electrochromic roof, which is a brilliant piece of wizardry science on its own. It's a $10,000 option. But if you're buying this car and you're getting the Spider, I don't know how you'd pass it up. It's incredible. Hit a button, the roof goes mostly clear. I get a lot more sun coming in, you can probably see it on my face. Hit the button again, it darkens it. I still see the sky, I know what the clouds are doing, but I don't feel the heat of the sun on me. It's amazing. It's amazing. The engine in this car is just exceptional. It's based on the 3.8 liter that McLaren has put in everything from the original MP412C to the 650 to the coffee machines at the Woking headquarters. It's in everything. But in this car, they bored it out to 4 liters. They gave it lighter connecting rods, pistons, a lighter and stronger crank, lighter turbines. So what you get is an engine that revs up faster, makes more power, and is actually more efficient. Power is quite obscene by any human standard. 710 horsepower at 7,000 RPM, 568 pound-feet of torque at about 5,500. Redline's at 81. 81. You don't need it. You don't need it after 7,000. It's just there if you need it for a corner. And then you jump on the brakes, and that super smart wing behind you kicks up and creates an air brake. It pops up in half a second. This car does 0 to 60 in just under 3 seconds. It's only like this much behind a Tesla P100D, which is one of the quickest accelerating cars ever invented. But where those two separate is at 125. It takes the Tesla P100 10.5 seconds to reach 125 miles per hour. That's incredibly fast. This car gets to 125 in 8 seconds. The transmission is one of the best on the planet. 7-speed dual clutch, shifts instantly, but you still feel it. These carbon paddles have such a wonderful feel, such a wonderful tactile sensation, a little bit of a click, and it's all one piece of carbon fiber that extends from one paddle to the other. It's all the little things. And in a world where haptic buttons are taking over, and in some cases, ruining steering wheels, the steering wheel has no buttons on it. It's kind of nice. I don't mind a few. Porsche, your mode selector is very nice. I like that. But having a wheel and it's just for turning the car, it's a pretty nice thing. The suspension is some of the most brilliant suspension that's ever been invented. It is a hydro-pneumatic system. Basically, it's a combination of adjustable dampers, springs, and then instead of anti-roll bars, they have an incredible hydraulic system that connects one wheel to another through a series of hydraulic tubes. It's sort of like a alien version of the pipes that are connected, between the sinks in your house. But basically what it allows is one wheel can be coming up and the system can react really, really quickly to that and send fluid to the other wheels to stabilize the body the best possible way to maintain the contact patch at all 4 corners. And what you get is a car that rides better than I think any supercar I've ever driven, maintains traction better than any supercar I've ever driven, and yet if I set this to sport, it hunkers down a little bit and then I feel even more of the road. I am honestly mystified at how well this car rides, how quietly it rides, and how it just does away with all of the little bumps you go over. McLaren likes to say that it weighs under 3,000 pounds without the fluids in it, but you need the fluids to drive the car. Otherwise, that's like saying, what do you weigh without your head? Because even with all the fluids and nearly a full tank of gas, it weighs under 3,300 pounds. It's a couple hundred pounds lighter than a C8 Corvette. The steering is unreal. It is so good. It's a very unique system. A lot of sports cars today, most cars in general really, are using electronic assist. But this car has a hybrid of electro and hydraulic assist. So the way it works is the electric motor can decide how much spin to give that hydraulic pump, which will then determine how much assistance it gives you. So at low speeds, in a parking lot, it can help you all you want, even if you're at idle speed. And then when you start going faster and faster, it pulls that assistance back, allowing you to feel every little bit of the road you want and giving you the wonderful feedback we all grew to love through the hydraulic steering systems we grew up with. It's genius. It's really, really genius. Yeah, the price, it's expensive. Of course it's expensive. Amazing things are expensive. The Spider starts at $315,000. This has about $40,000 worth of options. It gives you a coupe, it gives you a convertible, and it gives you something in between. Pretty good value for money if you think about that. Yeah, that's how math works. Sure, I don't need a house. I can live in this. What does this car do poorly? The screen feels old. It's the same kind of graphics they've been using for 10 years. It works. I found the nav perfectly usable, but it just doesn't look cool or interesting. I didn't like the way the front end looked when I first saw it, but it's grown on me, and I honestly am having a really hard time coming up with negatives for this car. What it lacks in fancy, modern center displays, it makes up for with a gauge cluster that collapses and looks like RoboCop's face. But I really think if you own this car, you should stop and pause and appreciate it, because this is one of the greatest supercars ever made. And because we're heading towards a possible electric future, this may end up being one of the greatest cars that will ever be built, period.
Oh my gosh. I keep saying, oh my god.
It kind of does that, right?
It just sticks to the ground. Like, I can push way more, but of course I'm not gonna do it. But this limit is so high. I almost feel like the steering wheel is a little too light, but still got really good feedback. And the brake pedal, gas pedal, both so stiff. It's like a race car. It's like a real race car. So you kind of have to get used to it.
Okay.
Didn't you think?
I mean, I've never driven a real race car. I've driven a Lemons car, which is more like a car you've stolen from a junkyard and then you're running away from the police.
But you kind of have to press pretty hard to get fully brake this car.
Yeah.
Oh my god, sorry, I can't talk and just keep driving. It's so fun.
It's so fun. It's so fast.
Yeah, this could be the best exotic car. I don't know if I can call this as an exotic.
Yeah, oh yeah,
It's,
of course it is.
Right?
Look at it. The doors go like this.
That's
the
true.
roof The roof has 2 different tints to it. It's $360,000. I mean, if this isn't exotic.
But it's really, really good on the track, man. It's crazy.
All right, let's see what the variable drift control does.
All right. Step on the gas. Yeah, I see. It's kind of like a stopping me to get slide.
Right, it caught you in the middle.
Yeah, it's only like
Okay.
a tiny bit angle, and it's really not gonna work if you want to do real slide drift through. I think ideally traction off, and if you can push the car to the limit, that should be the fastest, right?
Okay.
And then I think this drift control thing will help you to get there. It's like one step more after the traction control, I think.
Gotcha.
Maybe traction off?
Let's, okay. So now, ESC's off. This is just you.
Me. Let's see what it is.
You make it seem easy. Wow.
So much grip.
So cool.
So much grip. It just like keeps going, right? It's not only goes sideways, it just going straight with the sliding.
Wow.
Wow. Nice. Wow, so smooth too, right? Wow, this car, man, it's so good. Yeah.
If an agile, mid-engine car with magical suspension and hydraulic steering doesn't deserve a 10, I don't know what does. The power and speed demand respect, so we gave it a 5 for approachability. The exhaust note's a bit familiar, so we gave it a 7. Dai gave the interior a 7, but between seats that fell short on long drives and electronics nearing retirement age, I give it a 6. Neither of us would buy the poster, but we admit you can't help but look at the thing. As for its future as a collectible, Dai doesn't think it will stand out from other McLaren offspring, but I disagree. I think its ferocious speed and everyday comfort will never get old. If the complicated electronics and suspension don't render it an anchor, of course.
Oh my god, man, I'm just in love. This guy's so good.
It's so good. It really is so good.
Oh, I had a good time. Thank you, man.
Yeah, thank you, man. Wow.